Hello and welcome to the Dad and Buried podcast. As always, my name is Mike, aka Dad and Buried, and I'm joined by my man. I don't know what color that sweater you're wearing is. It's like
Maroon.
maroon. I'm
Yeah.
colorblind, so
Are you? Oh yeah.
I'm a little colorblind. My man Pete in a maroon sweater. I'll take
What's
his word
up,
for it.
everybody?
How's
What's
it
up,
going, Pete?
all you maroon lovers out there? It's not really maroon. It's sort of mottled red. I don't know.
Model red? What's that
Yeah,
mean?
it's kind of red with another color mixed in with it, I guess.
Is that what model means?
I think so.
Like
I
a
think
like a
so.
model airplane?
Mottle. M-O-T-T-L-E.
Oh, I've
Mottle.
never. Oh, I see what you're doing. I
Yeah.
thought you meant model like Bar Raffaele or Giselle Bundchen, the wife
No,
of the 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I certainly did.
Did you enjoy it?
I did actually. There was a lot on the line for Mr. Young.
Was there?
Young Mahomes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, from Mahomes.
Yeah, and they really shit the bed.
He just had his first child. Did you know the name? I believe it's a girl, and the name is Sterling.
Okay.
Sterling Sky or Sterling Shea Mahomes. Interesting choice.
Yeah.
If you want to be second place, you name your kid Sterling, right? Why not Gold? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? There you go.
And he
You're
was
always
second place.
You're
Maybe
always
that's what it is. He wanted to link his first child with his loss in the Super Bowl. So forever, that kid's going to be second place.
Yeah, that's right.
I actually like Mahomes. I was disappointed that I hate Brady. I was very disappointed. We don't need more Brady Super Bowls. Let's be honest.
No, but I couldn't. The first 4 games that they played, there was no way
No.
Brady was going to win the Super Bowl. So that was what was interesting. And
Yeah,
the fact that he did do it is so insane.
What do you think is more insane? The fact that he won his 7th Super Bowl or the fact that he likes long, slow kisses with his kids?
I think, honestly, it would have to be the long, slow kisses with the kids.
It's a little bit more insane. It's a little weird.
Yeah. He's got some particular, habits.
He's a strange dude. Let's be honest.
Strange dude.
I got an email for somebody, like I get all these PR emails and something was like, learn how to like be healthy and, thrive in your 40s like Tom Brady, and had a list of like the 7 main things he does, none of which are practical for somebody who's not a multimillionaire with servants and all this. Actually, they kind of are, but I'm not going to do any of them.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's like,
go to bed at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
The best is it's like when John Oliver refers to John Cena as the same age. He's like, we're the same age.
Yeah.
I'm the same age as Tom Brady, and it just doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah, that's about the only thing you two have in common.
Yep, that and the fact that we've both married supermodel wives.
That's true. Yes. Well, all 3 of us, if you want to be honest about it.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, seven rings for Brady is far too many for my liking. It's just too much winning from that guy. But. And watch out for the segue. You know what we're also having too much of lately? Family togetherness, Pete. You see how I did that?
You absolutely nailed it.
This is like what is this? Like our
I don't know,
90th episode? I'm a professional at this point. Yeah. I'm just at the top of the pops. It doesn't get any
top
better.
Of the pops. That was a good show.
So that's if you didn't know, listeners, that is actually the topic of the episode this week. It's too much togetherness. A result of this being nearly a year of the pandemic.
Oh my
God. We're all not necessarily 100% quarantined or on lockdown, but still the majority of our time is spent inside in our homes with our families. And you know what? It's not all it's cracked up to be. I can't even say it's not all it's cracked up to be because I knew it's not like I thought it was going to be great. Like if you had told me you're going to be spending 10 months it's essentially sequestered with your family, seeing few other people, rarely leaving the house, not going to an office, anything like that, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds horrible. And guess what? It's been horrible at times. Yeah. A lot of bonding. I'm getting to know my kids, very, very well. It's a double-edged sword. Would you agree?
No, I think it's single-edged, and it cuts right through my brain into my heart muscle, which also is just angry with what happened. So this time last year, just think of it. This time last year, it was getting a little bit dicey. It was in Europe, and things were feeling a little uneasy, but we carried about our days
Yes,
like
we sure did.
nothing was going to happen. And luckily, nothing did happen.
No, and we escaped unscathed, and
So,
what a wonderful year 2020 ended up being.
congratulations, us.
So I reached out for my topic and I said, what are the downsides of togetherness? And there was no shortage of responses. But what was funny is most of them were pretty similar. They all kind of fell into a group of categories that I think we can all agree with. And we're gonna get into that after the break. But before we do, it's funny you should say this time last year. I don't remember what I think I went to DC because we had our winter break. So we brought the kids to DC and we explored some museums, totally mask free. We
Right.
stayed in a hotel, totally mask free. Wandered around, not worrying about anything.
No
This
problem.
time, we went up to upstate New York to Lake Placid, and we stayed in like a little, Airbnb condominium with a fireplace, and we did everything we could to avoid other people.
Yep.
And we mostly stayed inside, partially because it was freezing, but also because there's this huge virus out there that nobody wants to catch.
Huh. Okay.
And what's good in the winter when you're outside and you have the mask on, it's actually kind of like it's practical, right? It keeps you warm in the face area, in the mouth area, and the nose. If you wear it properly, it should cover your mouth and your nose. For anybody out there, it's supposed to cover both of those orifices. Orifi? I think it's orifices.
Yeah.
So we did that for a couple of days, a little change of scenery. We had a fireplace. There was some local beers. It was a fun time. And I understand that you did something similar.
Yeah, well, very different. We did get away. That was where the similarity really sort of.
You went to the beach.
Separated. Yeah, we went to the beach. Nothing like a little winter beach action. It was pretty good. And we got there, and it was sort of in the evening into the night, and it had just kind of really, it was warm. For us, it was more warm than it was cold. Like it was more bitter cold when we left the city.
Oh, so where like on the coast was warm?
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was like 40 degrees or whatever.
Yeah.
But it had created this mist. And there, of course, we're in a beach town, so there's absolutely nobody around.
That's great.
And it was just us, and just looking down the road, these streets with just the street lights, and then it just kind of would dissolve into the mist. It was pretty cool, and the kids couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that they were at the beach in the winter time.
Right. Yeah.
With, like snow around. It was cool. So that was a fun little change of pace.
So we both had a change of scenery. For us, we were in an even smaller place, right? so we're here, like in our apartment, we have a couple of floors, and we can retreat to our different rooms and our different areas, and we can have some distance. It was smaller, there was no distance, and the perils of too much closeness and too much togetherness that we're going to be talking about were really on blast.
Yes.
But the one saving grace was that we were kind of in vacation mode. So Mama Barry and I were kind of like, oh, the kids can do whatever they want. We're just going to sit here by the fire, that kind of thing.
Right.
Which kind of has been one of the things we've been doing for 10 months of the pandemic, is just being a little bit more lax. But now that it's like a way of life, I think more guilt is coming with that, where it's like we should have adjusted by now, that we should have routines and all this stuff. And one of the things that we're going to talk about in here is that some of those routines, you're doing what you got to do to survive.
Yeah.
And sometimes, spending too much time together is not good for survival, so that you relax on some of that stuff.
We've touched on this before, but I mean, the World Health Organization came out and said child mortality rates skyrocket, especially when they don't listen and when they don't brush their teeth. It's amazing, especially in my household. And as you know, I have 3 kids now. We used to have 5, and it's just sad. It's just sad what happens when you just simply don't listen.
Thank God for that law you got passed, where children are allowed to be shot dead in airports.
Yeah. In airports, you're allowed.
We discussed a little bit last year. Yeah,
it's lethal force is what we like to call it when not listening. And
so
there hasn't been a judge yet that has convicted.
Of course not. Well, any judge that has been at home with their family for 10 months during this pandemic.
Yes.
I mean,
immediate pardon. Just an immediate pardon.
Exactly. But look, obviously there are a lot of downsides to this too much togetherness, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes. I did want to say, Pete, it's nice to see. It's been a couple of weeks.
It has.
We missed a couple of weeks. I had a flood in my basement yesterday. We almost missed this week.
Oh,
recovered nicely.
I want to hear about that.
Do you?
No, I don't know. Maybe I don't. But you know what? It's COVID time, so any little change of the scenery, any little like action,
spice it up.
Yeah, spice it up.
Next week we're going to devote an entire episode to the flood in my basement, and I had to go to Home Depot and rent a wet dry vac.
Who is responsible for really clogging it up, and what was going on?
I would like you to take one guess, and when we get back, I will answer right after this. All right, we're back at the Databerry podcast tonight. We're going to be talking about too much togetherness and the downside of bonding time.
There isn't any, Mike. So end of episode. Thanks, everybody.
Exactly.
Really appreciate you listening.
Before we get into it, I did want to thank everybody for listening. As always, you can hear us on Apple. What's the other one? Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can get our episodes every week. You can hear us or watch us and see Pete's maroon sweater on our YouTube
mottled red
channel, and leave comments on specific episodes. We'd love it if you would subscribe to whichever feed you listen to. Subscribe so you get the episodes when they come out every week. Leave us a review or a rating. Tell your friends. Check me out on Instagram. You can't check Pete out anywhere, which is the way he likes it. You can even throw us a little bit of money on Patreon or Anchor. We have a handful of people that do that. We thank them very much. We really appreciate it. Happy belated Valentine's Day to all our patrons and our listeners and you, Pete.
Oh my gosh, Mike, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sweet. Yeah.
Did you do anything for Valentine's Day for the wife?
No, because we've been married for a long time now. Yeah. So I think we just eased up on our normal routine of
yelled at each other a little less.
Kids. Exactly. It was a beautiful thing. And why did we yell at each other a little less? Because we've been stuck in the same house or same apartment for almost 12 months now. So that's why.
I purposely tried to veer away from people. Like I knew an easy answer to my question, like what are the downsides?
Was the one I just gave
with the spouse.
Cool. Yeah. No.
So right. So I purposely framed the question or tried to add some detail about, what are your bigger problems with your children, right? So obviously, being with your spouse nonstop all the time. I don't go to the office anymore, so I'm in the house all the time, working a lot of that time, and you get on each other's nerves every once in a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's natural.
It's not for us. Our love is too strong. So, yeah, I don't know.
I
what that's
am impressed.
Like. Yeah, we have an extraordinary bond that gets deeper every day. Like the movie Avatar, where they take their hair braids and they interconnect. I do that, except for like 10 times more because the new movies that are about to come out.
Underwater.
Which is about to sort of dominate our lives, I guess, for the next 40 years.
I can't wait.
That's kind of how it is.
I really like how they hiss at each other because they're like cat people. I really have always appreciated that about Avatar. Can't wait to see more of that.
I can't wait for the next 6 years of our lives to be dominated by Avatar movies.
So the next 45 minutes of our lives are going to be dominated with people's impressions of or comments about what they think sucks about the togetherness we're all forced to have with our families. But I thought before we get into some of the kind of the subtopics, a couple of people left some poignant and some trenchant comments with some good observations. So Remedy Moore said, "This is such a good topic," right? And this was Pete's idea. So golf clap for Pete from Remedy. She said, "Too much togetherness comes with the constant pressure to be engaged with your children at all times."
Okay,
let's
stop that.
Interesting.
Can we just let's let that just waft across us, our ear holes as we think about it. Too much togetherness comes with this constant pressure to be engaged with your children at all times. Hell fucking yeah.
Wait till you get to the end of this comment.
I don't want to.
No, you're going to love it.
Here. like
You're gonna love it.
God damn, it's too true.
So then she goes on to say, and parents don't have our usual coping outlets or tools. Like I don't get to go to work. My wife doesn't necessarily get to go have a girls' night where we can kind of decompress and escape from our kids
or a guy's night
and our spouses, or a guy's night.
No, she doesn't get
and she says, my 5-year-old wants me to be on their level 24/7, like I'm supposed to replace their 20 different school friends. Everything a 5-year-old has to tell you is either about poop or is some elaborate made-up game that you cannot win or add to because they are little dictators. And yes, screen time, because I mentioned screen time. She was like, yep, so much screen time, the constant guilt and battle over that. How do you tell them they're getting too much screen time? Well, you yourself are also getting too much screen time. She's talking about doom scrolling, reading the news on Twitter and on Instagram. And then she says, but it's winter and we're trapped. And she says, I'm not an ex-theater kid, so my creativity in the games department is pretty lackluster. Are theater kids big on games?
Yeah, huge
they?
On games. Yeah, the improv games are just massive in the theater.
Oh my God. Thank God I didn't marry
yes,
a theater
and
kid. So the last point she makes is, she says, this is the biggest one. She said, our parents never played with us, right? She's like, I'm trying to do that for our kids, but she didn't have this behavior modeled to her, because back in the day, we didn't have this kind of pressure. It was kind of like our parents would just be like, oh, go play, or you're bored, screw you, right? I'm going to do adult stuff.
Mike, this is, if you know nothing about me, which you don't,
I don't.
This is the one thing that I keep coming back to.
No, the water bottle.
Yes, well, exactly. I didn't have water bottles growing up, and now everybody has to have water bottles. Oh, but they have to be washed. The water bottles have to be washed every day. But also, I have to play with these kids. My 6-year-old comes up, Dad. I'm like, hey, dude, enough screen time. Go play with one of N number of thousands of toys you have. Thousands. Yes, that's right. We just unbelievably just toys just coming out.
So many, but they're so bored of them.
And then immediately, okay, but you need to play with me. No, I don't, dude, and I'm not going to play with you. I played with you a few times because it was cool. Maybe it was Christmas. Maybe it was situationally appropriate.
It was your birthday.
But I don't need to play with you right now. I need you to. And then immediately, I go into a story, which is sort of true, but also might not be true. But I was like, I would play for hours by myself. Yeah. I had the best, and then they can't fact check me. It's impossible to fact check me. That's what I'm saying. Mike.
They can't call Grandpa and be like, is this true?
Because Grandpa doesn't have a phone, Mike. I've thought of everything.
You have thought of everything. So my kid wants to play with me. I'm like, I'm a 40-year-old man. We have nothing in common. I don't want to play trains.
Yeah. And don't let him fact check you on that, because you're not 40. You're much older than that. So all these kids need to back off, stop trying to fact check their parents, also stop trying to ask them to play with them, because it's situational. Saturday mornings, sure. The window's open.
So, and I know you love when I do this. The other day I posted a tweet on Instagram, a meme, where I said a dilemma. I don't want my kids to melt their brains with 6 straight hours of screen time, but I also want them to leave me alone. Right? So it's what do you do? And now, you're never left alone. So you want it even more, and you need it, frankly, and we deserve it. And screen time is a lot of times the easiest answer, whether it's a video game or a show or a movie, just so you can go do something else without them, play with them.
It is true. I have found that actually smoking has actually been really interesting. I've introduced my kids to smoking.
Yeah, you've introduced them to smoking.
Yeah, as something else to do. But in a way that I don't quite approve of it, so they have to sneak around.
Yeah.
And that occupies a lot of time too.
That is good. Stay away from me.
Smoke.
Yeah, you have to hide what you're doing from me, and it just teaches them to. That's a good idea.
Yep.
So EMC2BG made another good point. She said it's all too much. When you're doing school and that's a war, and then you're supposed to teach them all the other stuff. You're supposed to raise them on top of being their teacher, and you're at home all the time. You're supposed to teach them all this social stuff, and then you have the endless food prep. The kitchen is always a mess. So this is some of the stuff we're going to get into, right? And then the kids are bored. God, there's nothing. Cry me a river. You're bored. With your tablets and your video games and your movies.
I picked up a phrase. Someone said it once. You're bored. No, only boring people
are bored. Yeah.
I just say that all the time.
That's
really insulting. and I just straight up just dead eye them. Hey, what do you want from me?
That sounds like it. That sounds like a YP.
Go try and smoke a pack of cigarettes, okay, buddy? Leave me alone.
That'll take you some time, and then the throwing up afterwards will even take up more time.
Please, they gotta get their lungs fixed anyway. Come on.
So a handful of random comments that I thought were funny. Syllabus777 says you end up questioning why you became parents way too often. Mama Said No says, I now know way too much about Pokemon. See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want to engage with any of this Pokemon stuff. No, thank you.
I got into both Zelda, which I never thought I would get into.
Yeah, you mentioned that. The Breath of the Wild.
It's awesome of all the games.
So you love it.
Yeah, I love it. And I love playing with my kids, although I beat it so many times that it's now
Look old. At you.
Yeah, no, that's a small flex. Humble brag. But then we got the Pokemon game. And
the video game?
The video game. And believe me, no one had less had less interest in playing Pokemon than
now you love it.
My son, after he couldn't read. It's all reading, and he's 6.
Yeah.
And it's just so heavy, and he would sit there and he'd just quietly be like crying. It was really sad, but he'd be trying to play, and I'm like, "What's happening?" He's like, "I just don't understand."
You sat there.
And you know what? I just picked it up and we sat together, and then soon enough, he was like, "Dad, can I play?" I was like, "Just shut up,
I'm locked in.
I'm a level 72 beware, motherfucker."
So this is funny because Madman McDougal said that you start acting like your kids. You've been around them so much, and it sounds like you have started acting like your kids, playing their video games.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Yeah. Who's your favorite Pokemon? I don't know anything about it.
My Beware. My level 77 Beware is just absolutely crushes. Yeah. He's a Pokemon.
So a lot of people did complain about the feeding them, and obviously they asked for snacks.
Yeah, that is a pain
annoying. Having to feed myself is annoying. So the divine Miss KC said she hates coming up with new meal ideas when you already, like, every day you're doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Because you're home all the time, and they're not going to school and getting lunch. Or even if they go to school some of the time, they're still home a lot of the time. Yeah. There's like we have staples that we just rotate. We order pizza at least once a week. My 10-year-old hates pizza now because we have it so often.
I mean, the amount of chicken nuggets that have been consumed in my house. Oh my
God, that's the other thing.
It has to be on some stat somewhere, some sort of like
the Guinness books.
Well, I don't know, just like localized to my neighborhood because the shelves have been cleared by the ravenous.
But it's the thing. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of families, if not most, right? You're doing what you have to do to survive. And one of the things you have to do to survive, as Rob with 2Bs _McKay says sometimes I let the kids get away with too much out of pure exhaustion. And I think that's true for all of us. That's where like the screen time comes in, where you're just like, I can't be bothered right now for whether I'm exhausted or I have work to do, or it's just you're up in my face too often. Just go do whatever you want, and I don't care. You can do it. Less discipline.
Yeah, well, I think we never really, as a family, never really used the full. You were talking about your apartment kind of being laid out, and so everyone would always congregate in one room.
Yeah.
Individual bedrooms or like different areas, sitting areas, whatever. And now it's just like everyone has like. There's like just a 1 square foot of space can just be your own. Is like my 10-year-old goes in her like a little hiding spot, and my teenager is doing her own thing.
And you're in the toilet.
I'm just constantly in the toilet. I'm very concerned with what's going on. Extremely. So we'll see.
You don't need a flood like mine.
No, I don't. But
keep your friends close and your toilet's closer.
Yeah.
So Alpha Gen Mama says the same thing. She says the kid has the TV all day, unlimited screen time. She's like, I honestly don't care. And she's like, I have too much screen time too. What else is there to do, especially in the winter? Like, we go outside, we've gone sledding, we've gone like snowball fights, we've done that stuff, but sometimes you just don't want to.
You can't do it every day. Yeah, no. You can't do it every day. And that's true. I mean, I think it's absolutely true. It also, I really believe, when it starts to get nice, in particular this year. So this time last year, don't forget, it was just really scary. It still is. I mean, obviously, but it was really scary. We just didn't know. I mean, we didn't know if food was going to be around. And remember toilet? God,
yes, I do remember.
Paper. I hope if there's anybody listening that has a stockpile toilet paper, God damn it, what the fuck?
Anyway, you. Yeah, just say it.
Just fucking goddamn it. So that was all happening, and then kind of spring happened, and it got a little bit okay. We were kind of warily. This year, with the I mean, people are just going to go nuts. I know I am.
Go nuts. I'm going to Daytona Beach in April.
Are you really?
No, I'm not, Pete.
Well, why not? You should.
Why would I go there? I'm a 40-year-old man. Why would I go there ever?
Because that's a lot of other 40-year-old men go there too.
That's true.
Just don't tell your family.
So I thought this comment from Ronnie _Hagee, Hagy, says that her son watches the stupidest fucking Netflix cartoons, and she works from home all day, so she's like privy to this, right? She can hear it, or he's coming up and telling her about it.
Yeah. Look, this is important. Hear me now. I really believe this. If the show has absolutely no merit, like if there's a few shows that just like make sounds. There's a show called Ziggy and Charcot. It's, I think, French, and there's no talking. It's just sounds, and it is mind-numbingly stupid.
100%.
It's not even like Tom and Jerry, like maybe a little clever, or like I don't even know what, like humorous. It's so bad. It's so stupid. It's outlawed. I'm fully outlawed. I'm like, you can't.
Verboten.
Just cannot watch that. And what else? Big Time Rush is just, it's over. I can't.
Right. You guys watch like tween shows. We haven't gotten into those yet. You have girls.
Some assembly required. These are just vapid, horrible shows that, like, you know, people are just saying things with their mouth in a weird way and like laugh tracking. They're outlawed.
So my 5-year-old is big into this Dino Dan series on YouTube, which is
okay. I'm into that.
Yeah, no. I don't have a huge problem with it, but it's just he just needs to watch every episode of it. He worships dinosaurs in a way that, like, I think a lot of kids go through that phase, but I feel like it's a little bit more intense. And my 10-year-old is at the point where, like, he's watching some of the stuff we watch, like the Marvel shows and stuff that are on. And they don't have a ton of common ground, which is
there we go.
That can become a problem because it's like it's got to be like, you know, it's his turn to watch, and they can't find anything to agree on, so they're fighting. And my 10-year-old is such a control freak and trying to dominate. He tries to dominate. Like, if they're playing a make-believe game, my 10-year-old would be like, no. You can't have your make-believe dinosaur. You can't pretend to be a T-Rex in this game because we're doing this. Or they'll both be having magic powers, and my 10-year-old won't let my 5-year-old have a specific magic power that they're pretending to have. I'm like, fucker, magic isn't real, buddy. You can't you can't control his imagination.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people did mention that their kids were fighting constantly, and again, you know, we as adults and stuff, we get annoyed with each other and stuff, but we have. You know, we just have a better understanding. We know what to do if we need to remove ourselves. We can cope a little bit better. Little kids, they just button heads constantly. Are your kids at each other's throats?
Oh my God. It's literally like when they're together, you can just count. I just started counting on my fingers. Like
how long it's going to be.
2, 3. Ow. And then, you know, just like someone's like, and then, of course, I go down and everything's totally quiet and normal. And I'm like, no. You tell me. I want names. And then I just...
And they snitch.
I just do the immediate, like, okay, everyone's punished. Yeah. Like, just full maximum levied timeouts or whatever it is. Like, no screens.
So effective, yeah.
It's so effective. Honestly, my kids have applauded my parenting style from the beginning. It's been amazing. And they respect me so much. It brings almost a tear to my eye. So that's just a little story.
So they are too close to each other a lot of times, and that causes conflict. And then one of the topics that came up was that kids can be too touchy and up in your face, especially. And I think this especially happens to moms, where like kids can be really clingy and all up on them. And Saigon Sweetie says one of them is always touching me, and she says, if I hear "Mommy, look what I can do" one more time, I will fucking lose it. And I understand that, right? Where at a certain point you you're just at your limit with interactions
Yeah.
with these
Yeah.
little kids. It's
Oh,
nuts. It's too much.
My 6-year-old will go into, like, it'll be bath time, and he's old enough where it's like, all right, dude, just get yourself in the bath, do the
For 3
shower,
hours.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. I don't care. Yeah, that 3, please, whatever you need to do, just go there, be quiet, be chill, and he'll go in, and I'll be like in the middle of something, like washing or cooking or trying to get, like, in the middle of some task. Dad,
Yeah.
can you come here and help me? And he's just like, no,
No.
but I need your help. I don't care. But what should I do? Just stand there. I don't just stand there.
Just deal with it.
What are you going to be? I don't know. That could be a long time. Yes, I know. It's going to be a really long time, probably. Just stand there quietly.
It's always something they don't actually need you for until the one time you don't go, and then you finally go in 20 minutes, and the kid's
and
like
they're
dripping
like,
with blood.
Yeah. No, he's like, I figured it out. It's always, I'll like make my way down. Like, what did you need? Oh, I just, should I use this bath mat? You mean the bath mat that you use every night? Yeah, use that one. Okay.
Exactly. So, one angle on this is that not only do they constantly need your help or want or think they need your help, just sometimes they're just needy just to be needy, but they also, like you said earlier, will be like, I'm bored, or they want you to entertain them or do something with them. And I am Lysassa says that she is really sick of hearing her kids say, I want to do something special, or I am bored. Now, every parent hears this, but as the parent to a kid with ADHD, I've been noticing more and more lately that like he cannot have nothing to do. Like, he has to be stimulated one way or another. So like, if we don't give him screen time or whatever, he's all up in our faces. Let's play a board game. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's just like, he needs to have like every minute filled with some kind of activity. And like, we're on vacation and we're like in our little condo with the fire on, and he doesn't have necessarily everything he has at home, which normally he would be bored with anyway. But he's just like, what can I do? I got to do something. And it's just like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do, buddy. Go read. And then like, no, I like my books. Right?
No, you should really try smoking. It's great.
It's a good idea.
It's
a
forgotten part. We really kind of moved past it, but I think we should go back. I think it's
Parliaments with the recessed filters. Should I get him a vape?
Well, if you want a very early death, then
he does like tech, though. He likes tech, right? It's a little gadget.
Well, vape, I think is I think unbelievably dangerous. Other than
it's because it fill time, though, Pete.
Yes, it does. Oh,
I'm not concerned about that.
You know what he should get really good at is what do they call it? Where they like you master like shapes with the vape. Like I forget what it's called.
It's called something.
Like it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just
what, like when you have a pipe and you blow
air bending. Yeah,
donuts?
You're like making like donuts and then
air bending. That's like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. That's why I said I don't know what it's called, but it has something to do with, there's a whole subculture of people who vape and then make shapes with the
okay, so get my son a vape and then encourage him to spend, say, like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours getting great at inhaling and then blowing out smoke and air bending it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, yeah.
Well, look, you know what? It was your idea.
You know what? Just take it up with my lawyers.
Plural?
Yeah, 3 of them.
So a couple of people,
they all live with me.
A couple of people complained about how annoying their kids are, and it's funny because in the past, and even still today, like when I tweet or blog or I call it gramming or gram or podcast about how annoying my kids are. It used to be a little bit more of like a rare thing where people would be like, oh my God, you say that about your kids? Not anymore. 10 months in the pandemic, everybody's like willing to throw their kids under the bus because they're just sick of them.
What about that couple that you went on that cruise with that was like an Instagram family?
Oh my gosh.
Have you checked their Instagram?
I haven't. That's a good idea. I haven't checked theirs like during the pandemic. I
bet you they're beautiful. Like, oh, we're doing crafts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those fucking liars.
Why don't we just go? We should just have a segment where we go through
Porkin' liars.
We should go through like Instagram, like the really high, like the ones where it's just everything is idyllic. One idyllic picture.
Get on them one by one.
I don't know.
Call
It
them out.
just seems like the right thing to do. I don't know.
Liars.
I don't
It
know.
will be cathartic. It will make me feel better. So Mrs. Drago 62 says so many annoying sounds from her kids. My son likes to Weird Al Yankovic, not just songs, but just sentences. And what I mean is he will change the words in normal sentences to like poop and fart and butt, just all the time for no reason. Yeah. A True Gator. A true gator, maybe went to Florida, said, in 2 months, my son learned all my buttons, and he's been pushing them for the last 10. Yeah. I mean, look, that's one of the things that kids learn really quickly is how to piss you off. Yeah. And then, so in these, like, I think a lot of times my kids are doing it on purpose, or at least my 10-year-old, but my wife always gives them the benefit of the doubt. And then I don't know, am I a huge asshole? Am I crazy? Because I'm pretty sure he can be pretty devious. And he's definitely doing this stuff. He knows what he's doing.
What if all of those things could be true?
That is true. Well, I am a huge asshole. I'm probably crazy, and he is pretty devious. So a lot of people complain about not having patience, but this is the thing. You know, you find your kids more annoying when you have less patience with them because you've been stuck in a room or a home with them for the better part of a year. Mary 51 says, I have a much shorter fuse. Yeah, we all do. Yeah. Hankins Kendall says, I'm so much more easily frustrated, especially with my 4-year-old. Whereas, like in the past, it would almost be like, how can you get frustrated with a 4-year-old? First of all, you can get frustrated with a 4-year-old pretty easily. Nowadays, even more so. I mean, they're cute, right? So when they're asleep or when they're snuggling with you or whatever, but all the rest of the time, when they're just asking why over and over, or saying no over and over, or asking for a fucking snack over and over.
Or they taking that snack and then going to the place where you said you don't want them to have the snack, and then having the snack there, and then doing the exact thing with their hands, which is putting it on the couch, which you said you don't want them to do. Yeah, that's annoying. And it's time. It's over. Their time is over. Up here is our. First of all,
this is Goonies now.
Up here is supposed to be our time. Their time is supposed to be down in a well somewhere.
But there's no separation anymore.
To the well. I keep telling my kids, I get all three of them, I line them out, go to the well. Down there is your time.
Falling down wells, right? It used to be a thing. It used to be a pastime.
Every weekend.
Baby Jessica.
Someone would be down a well. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You know what I mean? Not anymore. Now it's just like, my Roblox account doesn't work. Well, I don't fucking know. I don't know why you can't connect with each other. I have your micro. Why did you create your own account? How did you do that?
I can't retrieve the password for your account. There's a reason I set this thing up. That doesn't
make me a jerk. And yes, okay, I know a little bit about that. I don't know how fucking Microsoft, the intricacies of the Xbox. God. They changed it from a Microsoft account to an Xbox account. Okay, but it's all the same. But now it's a little bit different. Which version are you using?
I have this stupid family link thing on my kid's Chrome that is supposed to like allow parents to like control the screen time and all. It's the most confusing thing. The kid can't get into stuff. He should be able to get into stuff. I don't know how to access it. It's tied to the wrong email. It is unbelievably frustrating. I just got to delete it all. Except now we've been using it too long and I can't. It's tied to too much. It's just an absolute.
And now you're just too afraid to touch it.
Exactly.
Just make a wrong move, so it just continues to exist.
So obviously the big issue that all of this stuff springs from is that there's no separation.
We had kids.
To bring it back to the beginning, we had kids. But there's no separation. There's no privacy. There's no space. There's no alone time. And now I personally, I need alone time from time to time. And I used to get it, even just like being on the subway, like in your cocoon, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, or being at the office isn't necessarily alone time, but it's separation from your family. None of that exists anymore. The kids, a lot of them don't go to school. If they do, it's just for a much shorter time than they would have a couple days a week or something like that. So they're not even getting separation from us. Everybody's in their faces. Just too much. There's a lot of that.
The sound you're hearing is Mike butting his fists together.
You know what? It's
rage. It's actually a weird sound. It's also kind of a weird, gross sound. It's like I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, are your kids back in school, by the way, 5 days a week?
No. Are yours?
Yeah, because my first grader, we got a first grader. So our first grader is going back 5, and then they're going to do 5th grade is going to go back, I think, first 5 days. And then middle school, you mother get you into
Did
school.
you put in the deadline was today? Did you put in your applications?
Yes, for middle school.
How many schools?
Don't worry. Middle school, dude. That's just middle school. We also have high school.
And high school, yeah.
So, but that's cool because it's just auditions and SHSAT tests. It's not a big deal.
Oh my God!
I'm telling you, college applications are going to be an absolute fucking breeze.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I'm like, these
cities.
kids go through all this stuff now. Yeah.
The kids.
Well,
kids don't do shit. Kids don't do
fine,
shit.
sure, but you know what I mean. Kids will do
Parents.
more of the college application, hopefully. I don't even remember.
Yeah, of course they will.
At least they'll write their own essays. Do they still do essays?
I don't know.
They do TikTok videos.
Yeah, I think they're just like the professors just like rate their Minecraft world or something like that. I think that's how it works these days.
Yeah, you know what? If that's the case, my kid's going to Harvard. He's good at Minecraft.
Congratulations, yeah.
So, Danny LEMI84 says, I thrive on getting time to myself every day, which she obviously doesn't now, and she feels suffocated a lot. Yeah. Jackie Caceres says, everywhere you look, there they are, which I thought was funny. M. Laveley says, it's hard to fill your own cup. No personal space, no quiet. So I wrote about this a few months ago on my Instagram, sort of about the inability for like everyone's like, self-care, but it's not easy when you're tasked with like looking after these kids who are struggling and going through this really bizarre, potentially traumatizing time themselves. But at the same time, it's not easy on adults either. And it's really impossible to find ways, like she says, to fill your own cup and like replenish your own energy and mental health when you're all dealing with this and you have no separation and you can't escape.
I mean, look, I've said this before. I know that, we've been talking about first line of defense, like the first responders for the healthcare workers and whatnot. Obviously, huge debt is owed. But then you have teachers, but then you have parents, like the parents of these kids who've been helped. Now, if you're a parent and a teacher, I just have to say, like, there should be a monument. There should be some sort of memorial, rather, not monument, just of the sacrifice that has gone on, because
or like a salary increase.
Something like that. I just even just a nod, like the parent, a parent who's also a teacher. So you both have to do online, plus you're with your kids. It's absolutely incredible. And again, it's all kind of come back on the parents. So if you're single and you're by yourself, it's been tough because obviously you don't have a lot of people to hang out with. But you can. There's a couple different ways you can figure that out. But man, having kids in school who are young, let's just say it together, holy fucking shit, it's been a long ass year. I don't care what.
How could I have said that? I didn't know exactly. How could I say it together when I didn't know that whole sentence you were going to say?
You can list. Okay, go rewind and then say it all together, because it doesn't matter what country you're in or whatever, except you need to sit down, New Zealand. Not so fast.
Yeah.
with your rugby matches and your full, whatever.
So another aspect of this is not being able to have adult time, like alone adult time with your spouse or whatever. You two, I know, are doing great because of your unbreakable, unshakable bond.
Yeah,
but one of Mom and Buried is constantly like, we need to, like, she wants to have like date nights and all that kind of stuff. And it's not easy to come by because what are you going to do? I've seen these things on like social media or even like my friends' Facebook pages where like their kids, like they dress up and their kids like serve as waiters and maitre d's and they have like date night in the house and the kids like bring the food.
So awful.
It sounds like a sitcom.
Wait a second. No, it doesn't. It sounds that sounds like that. No, it sounds like that fucking Instagram family that we were talking about. These crafts. That is a load of shit. Dressing up and then having your kids serve as maitre d's, shit's gonna get everywhere. No one's got time for that anymore.
Nobody puts that part on social media though, buddy. Like you're saying, it all looks wonderful and adorable on social.
You're only doing that because, and that's what pisses me off. I fucking can't stand that shit. Wow. You're only doing that.
We're gonna have to do a.
You're only doing it so that you can, because no one in their right mind, this far, maybe in the very beginning, if you were trying to like just, ease the pain of just
Yes.
put the fear out of your mind, maybe. But okay, so let me recall.
We need to do we're gonna have to do a fake
date
social
stamp
media
from
parents
March
topic. You're
23rd.
loving it.
Anything date stamp from March 23rd through to May 1st, 2020 is a fine. Anything after that, you can go. Fuck that.
I'm gonna get you the names of my friends who I saw on social media who have done that, so that you can go comment under their
I'm gonna sign up for whatever social media platform they're on these days.
All right, so the last main topic that I thought was interesting that people complained about was not only was it no separation in terms of they're in your face all the time and no privacy and all that stuff, but they people complained about having no absence, right? The kids are never gone, right? So Alias Loves Chris says you never get to miss them, right? So their annoyance piles up with no relief. So everyone always makes a joke that you love your kids more when they're asleep, or Michaela Schmidt says, I never get a chance to miss my kid. I would be excited to pick him up after work and be like, oh, I haven't seen you all day. Now I get to see you, except that never happens. He's in your face at all times. You're feeding him at all times. He's asking you to play with him at all times. He's bored at all times. You never get the absence makes the heart grow fonder aspect of it, which even just a few hours away every day can really heal. It can heal a lot of wounds.
Yeah, but it can't heal a gunshot wound. Just remember that, everybody.
That's true.
That's going to really require some medical attention.
Sparty
don't leave it.
Sparty Sarah 88 says, I never get the opportunity to miss them. My youngest, and she said, my youngest, quote, I'm sick of you all the time. Now, I don't know if she was saying that her youngest kid says that to her, or that she thinks says that to her youngest kid. I think it would be really funny from an outsider's perspective if her youngest kid said to her, I'm sick of you all the time, because that's really rough. If that's what she says to her kids, that's basically what I say on my Instagram all the time. So no great shakes there. But I do agree with that, where it's never having a break, I think can be really harmful to relationships, and it leads to people like you wanting to shoot kids at airports.
It just leads to people like me. That's all it does. It's like a sort of very dark parenting rainbow, and at the end of it is just me. Just not you
an evil leprechaun.
By the way, wanting to shoot kids at airports is a gross mischaracterization of the law.
You want to make it okay for people to shoot their own kids at airports.
No, which is simply that a capital crime if your kid is misbehaving at an airport is completely permissible.
Okay,
that's a lot.
That clears it up.
Yeah, that's a lot different than just randomly shooting kids at airports, because I don't condone that. I do condone just capital punishment for any sort of, I don't know,
tomfoolery at LaGuardia.
Yeah, exactly.
Shenanigans at JFK.
Any kind of wrestling between two siblings should just need instant capital punishment. That's it. That's all.
Well, I'm sorry that I mischaracterized you.
Yeah, not
I made you look bad.
Yeah, exactly. Please.
There's a lot of nuance to your position.
So much nuance. Captain nuance.
Speaking of a lot of nuance, Kil _Thor says he can now identify each of his children by their farts. A lot of nuance in those scents. A lot of variety.
We've had some good guffaws about some farting in our household. That's become a thing.
Did you say guffaws? You mean like guffaws?
Guffaws, yeah.
Like guffaws. Laughing?
Yeah, there's been some funny moments over different people, and now it becomes this thing where there's some definite drive-by crop dusting, on purpose.
I had to explain what a crop duster was to my son the other day. Not even the colloquial farting version, just what the actual plane was, because they were watching Planes, the animated movie, and there's a crop duster in it. And I'm realizing right now that I didn't use that opportunity to also explain what crop dusting was in slang, and I might go wake him up.
Yeah, just wake him up and then just walk out of the
room. And I'll crop dust him.
Yeah, and have him just reel in horror. Yeah.
So the last comment I'm going to mention is from Renteria14, who says that She's really sick of hearing about all the TikToks her kids watch. And then she said, we don't get their humor. First of all, there's no humor on TikTok. Those aren't jokes they're making. They're doing dance moves, right? You have an account.
It's starting to change. It's changing.
It's
not
changing.
It's less.
It's getting real.
Yeah, it's less dancing now, and it's more. It's just more just content.
There's a lot of There's like a lot of mom Instagrammers and stuff who have like who have TikToks who do like little videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get their humor either.
I'll say this. I'm just, again, I'm a little wary about putting an app, like whatever. I still have concerns.
You gotta get into that.
Well, no. Look, I work in the news business, and every time any of our journalists go to China, it always comes back filled with malware. Like not even like a little bit, even some hardware. Everything is a burner. Where does Jack Ma? He's just gone. Like
he disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just a little bit of put it on your kid's phone. But like if you have if you have it on your phone, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't know. If I put it on my phone, they're gonna get access to all
my
Put
it on your iPad or something, or put it. I don't know. They'll still probably get all that.
I don't need them stealing my memes.
Look, yeah, exactly. Your damn memes. It's not that big a deal, but it's just there's something.
I hear you, man.
Not into it.
The horse is out of the barn in most
cases.
And
not just that, but let's just know where your information's coming from. Like calling social media being a total pariah in society about 15 years ago. That's all. That was me. That's what I.
Wow, little serious disclaimer there from Petey at the end.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Just a little.
Well, you know what? If anybody has actually listened to this entire episode and gotten to this point, I think they should delete their podcast apps.
Yes.
You don't want any malware.
No, not. Yeah, most apps are fine, but just I don't know.
You know what? You've done a service, right? So I don't know that you've totally counterbalance the I want to shoot kids at airports thing, but you do want to protect people's phones and their information from malware. So
yeah, I do want to do that. That is correct. And
you're still
also,
in the red, but you're making your way back up.
I feel like I tried to really clear up my stance on airport children behavior. I think it was gross. I don't like your representation of it.
It's not for us to decide. It's for the listeners to decide what they think your stance is and if it's reprehensible or not. So, you know what? Maybe I'll bring it up. I'll ask them.
Sounds great.
So I think maybe next episode or the next time you're on, maybe we'll see if we get a little feedback about.
Are we reprehensible? The answer is yes.
Yeah, it sure is.
The answer might shock, but the title of that episode will. What was the answer? And the answer is yes. The answer might shock.
Well, I think we'll combine that episode is Pete reprehensible episode with my breakdown of how toilet paper clogged my toilet and flooded my basement. It'll be fun. That's a real fun episode to get through. A little bit less annoying than living with your kids. See, that's the thing. That's one of the things that our podcast provides is you put your headphones on and you zone out and you can't hear your kids whining. You can't hear your kids saying they're bored. You throw Mike and Pete on and you listen.
Two grown men whining.
Yeah, grown men whining, but at least they're not whining about the listeners, right? At least in most cases, there are a few annoying.
We're in this together. That's the thing that we need to understand. We need to take a nice deep breath. That's why I said, go back, rewind, just we need a mantra like "fuck this" or something. Just like
the mantra. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll work on the mantra. We'll come up with something good, and maybe one of these next episodes we'll do it. Until then, I want to thank everybody for listening. Please subscribe, tell your friends, Apple, Spotify, anywhere. Go to YouTube, throw us some money on Patreon if you want. Check me out on Instagram.
Tell your friends to get on Instagram. Apple. Yeah.
Tell your friends to delete TikTok and get Instagram and follow Dad and Buried and get all the podcast apps and just subscribe out the app. There's no malware. To everything.
Everything is everywhere. We love you, Mike. Great talking with you once again. I think we got to the bottom of yet another parenting topic.
We're just running through them. We're just running through them. So what you did mention, you wanted to do something about disciplining kids for talking back kind of stuff, and I think that's a pretty good topic. We're gonna flesh that out a little bit about
No,
what happens when kids use sarcasm and talk back and
Yeah,
stuff.
I texted you saying, "What do I do now?" Because I got a live one, real time live one, and then it just you ghosted me, so I didn't know what to do.
Oh, please. You know what? We'll work this out. We'll work this out at the same time we figure out your airport policy and the legality of it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, we'll see you
Thanks
next
for
time.
listening, everybody. I'll catch you later.
I don't know why you would still be watching This Isn't a Marvel movie, no matter how much I look like Paul Rudd, which you can deny it all you want. It's there in the eyes, I think. I'm young looking like him. If you enjoyed the podcast, which you obviously did or you wouldn't be listening still, sign up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. Comment here on YouTube, subscribe, hit that like button. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions, dirty jokes, money, all the money you can give us. We'd love it all. Catch you next time.